In today's ride on the Science Express, we'll be taking a closer look at the science and the struggle behind the flames.
Every year, fires sweep through informal settlements across the Philippines, but the reasons go beyond chance. What makes these areas so vulnerable, and how does science explain the speed and severity of these disasters?
UN Habitat estimates that over 3.7 million families reside in informal settlements across the Philippines.
When paired with the PSA's average of 4 members per household, the reality is alarming. More than 14 million Filipinos live in environments where one spark can trigger a catastrophe.
Life here is built on resourcefulness. Homes are made from whatever materials families can afford: plywood, tarpaulin, old GI sheets. Appliances are often secondhand. Electricity, if available, is shared, spliced, or tapped.
Most families here aren't careless. They're doing the best they can with limited choices. When survival is the daily priority, safety becomes a privilege, not a guarantee.
Now, to understand why fires start and how they spread, we have to look at the 3 essential elements of combustion: heat, fuel, and oxygen.
Let's start with heat. Heat is the energy needed to make a material ignite. Without enough heat, nothing burns. It's what kickstarts the entire process. Next, we have fuel. Fuel is anything that can burn: a solid, liquid, even a gas. Fuels can be classified in 2 ways: combustible materials and flammable materials. Combustible materials, which can burn under normal conditions, but usually need more heat to start a fire. And flammable materials, which ignite very easily, even with just a small flame or spark. And finally, the third element is oxygen. Oxygen mostly comes from the air around us, and it's what keeps a fire alive.
Together, these 3 elements make combustion possible. The process begins when heat causes the fuel to break down and release vapors, because solids and liquids don't actually burn directly. What burns are the vapors they produce. Once those vapors mix with oxygen, a chemical reaction happens. The reaction speeds up as oxidation increases, releasing heat, light, and small combustible molecules. And that's the fire we see. Let's see how a fire can start in an informal settlement. A family is cooking dinner using an illegal electric connection. The wires are old, exposed, and overloaded. Then, the line short circuits. That spark provides the heat. The house itself, made of scrap wood, plywood, cartons, and plastic tarps, becomes the fuel. And the open air inside supplies the oxygen. With all 3 elements present, a fire starts instantly. Within minutes, the flames grow and jump to the next house, often less than a meter away. Fires in informal settlements can start from the smallest spark, and in just minutes, they can turn into large-scale disasters that take hours to control.
An example of this is the fire incident in Isla Puting Bato in Tondo.
A fire that broke out on Sunday, November 24, 2024, in the Isla Puting Bato area of Tondo, Manila, displaced around 2,000 families, approximately 10,000 people. The blaze ignited at approximately 8 a.m. local time and lasted for 8 hours before being extinguished. The densely populated area with homes constructed from light and combustible materials contributed to the fire's rapid spread. The fire destroyed approximately 1,000 homes, leaving thousands without shelter. Isla Puting Bato sits in the district of Tondo, which is Manila's largest slum area, home to roughly 650,000 people. Many live in shabby shacks across densely packed streets near a busy commercial port.
Slum fires are not rare, they're common, and they often start from everyday hazards inside the home.
The most frequent ignition sources include unattended candles and gasoline lamps, faulty or leaking LPG tanks, cooking stoves left unattended, firecrackers and fireworks, and lastly, poor or exposed electrical wiring.
Most fire incidents in informal settlements come from just three major causes: faulty electric connections, unattended open flames, and improperly discarded cigarette butts, all happening in extremely dense communities where a single spark can spread across dozens of homes.
Among all these causes, one stands out. Faulty electrical wiring remains the #1 cause of fires. Illegal electricity tapping, jumpers, and malfunctioning cooking appliances easily ignite the highly flammable materials that many informal homes are built from. But the danger doesn't end with ignition. It's also crucial to understand why fires in informal settlements spread so quickly and why they are so hard to put out.
In the Philippines, the causes and risks of fires in informal settlements are complex and layered. These communities face different forms of vulnerability that make them highly exposed to fire incidents.
One major factor is population density. Homes in informal settlements are packed tightly, often wall to wall, allowing flames to jump quickly from one structure to another. The built environment also contributes. Many dwellings use light, combustible materials like plywood, scrap wood, cardboard, and tarpaulin. Even with some metal sheets or concrete blocks, overall fire resistance remains low, so these structures ignite and burn easily. Access is another issue. Pathways are narrow, irregular, and often blocked, making evacuation difficult and preventing fire trucks from entering. Firefighters struggle to reach inner areas, causing dangerous delays. There are numerous ignition sources. Limited access to safe electricity forces households to use candles, kerosene lamps, LPG tanks, and illegal connections, which frequently lead to short circuits, leaks, and open flames. Fuel load also increases risk. Poor waste management creates piles of trash, plastics, and sometimes flammable or hazardous materials that intensify heat and speed up the spread of fire. Suppression challenges worsen the situation. Most communities lack extinguishers, hydrants, water supply, or sprinkler systems. Once a fire grows beyond the first moments, residents have almost no means to stop it. Fire detection is another vulnerability. These areas rarely have alarms or smoke detectors, so fires are often noticed only when they're already large and hard to control.
Beyond these physical hazards, social and political vulnerabilities heighten the risk. Residents of informal settlements often face social exclusion and classism, which results in fewer opportunities and weaker support from society. When this is coupled with the limited access to education, their awareness of fire safety practices is greatly affected. In addition, their lack of political representation means concerns about fire prevention and safer infrastructure are frequently overlooked in policy and urban planning.
All these factors, physical, social, economic, political, service-related, and legal, combine to create such a high-risk environment. This is why fires in informal settlements spread with such speed, cause severe damage, and remain one of the most devastating hazards affecting vulnerable communities.
So why don't families just fix the wiring? Or replace old appliances? Or use safer materials? Because for many, safer options aren't affordable. Certified electricians cost money. Concrete costs money. New appliances cost money. People don't choose danger. They choose survival. These risks exist not because of neglect, but because of necessity. But even with limited resources, small changes can save lives.
Be careful with open flames, especially during brownouts. Never leave candles, kerosene lamps, or stoves unattended. Place candles or lamps on a stable metal surface. Keep flammable items like curtains, clothes, or paper 1 arm's length away. And lastly, during brownouts, turn off appliances and use candles safely.
Cook safely in small spaces. Use one safe corner for cooking. Keep cooking areas away from hanging laundry, wood walls, or plastic tarps. Turn off LPG tanks or stoves after use. Keep a pot lid or wet towel nearby to smother small flames. Store gasoline, alcohol, or paint thinner away from the cooking area.
Use electricity wisely. Avoid overloading extension cords or using octopus connections. Ask a barangay electrician or skilled neighbor to check wires for overheating. Keep wires off the floor to prevent damage and short circuits.
Improve escape routes. Keep pathways clear. Even small clearances matter. Agree on a family and community evacuation route. Teach children the quickest way out of the home.
Know what to do if a fire starts. Shout "Sunog" immediately to alert neighbors. Use sand, soil, or a wet sack to smother small flames. Stay low and crawl under the smoke. And lastly, evacuate first. Belongings can be replaced, lives cannot.
Prepare a simple household fire kit. A low-cost kit can include a pail of water, a bucket of sand or soil, a wet towel to cover your nose and mouth, a flashlight, and a whistle to signal neighbors.
Strengthen community fire readiness. Assign volunteer fire watchers during high-risk times such as night, brownouts, or holidays. Use whistles, shouting, or banging pots to alert neighbors quickly. Keep shared water drums or large containers accessible to everyone. Encourage barangay leaders to request hose reels or basic extinguishers from local government units or non-governmental organizations. And have buddy families to check on each other during times of emergencies. Every fire leaves a scar, but also reminds us of what we must fight for: safer lives, safer families, and safer futures. Science helps us see the problem, but compassion fuels us to address it. Here at Science Express, we believe that knowledge saves lives.